وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين. أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن مع العسر يسرا صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم نحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created human beings dependent on many things. Our dependence is upon oxygen. Our dependence is on nutrition and food. And our dependence is upon community. We were not created to be isolated. We were not created to live a life of loneliness and solitude. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam, right away He created for him a spouse, a partner, someone to share the challenges of life, someone to see through all of the ups and downs of this dunya. It was never meant to be something to be done or experienced without a partner that supports you and helps you, not just through this world, but hopefully in the akhirah as well. A partnership that transcends this life. A partnership that each spouse, if done properly, can help each other attain the ultimate reward, the ultimate success. To the point where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made clear for us that in the happiness, the pleasure, the satisfaction of our wives, there's greatness. That is character. That is the standard of your iman, your faith. And then the same for the sisters. Rasulullah said, your husbands are for you paradise. in the sense that if a person leaves this world, in a state where he is happy and pleased with his wife, for her that is Jannah. So it means that both husband and wife, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not just give them an opportunity to be support for each other in this life, but also a means for their Jannah. And when we see the significance of that, because why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a test? And then in that test tell us that this is what you are striving for. You're trying to attain paradise. We do what we do, we submit ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we become the best servants that we can become for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hoping the ambition is that we will receive paradise. So in that ambition, Allah gave us support, not just in revelation, not just guidance. Allah did not just tell you this is halal and this is haram, and you should only concern yourself with your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But He also told you, be good to each other. Take care of each other. Understand the value of the responsibilities and the duties that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put upon your shoulders, not as a burden, but as an instrument towards your ambition. An instrument towards your reward and ajr, your prize, which is paradise. So this is very important, how we look at these relationships, that it's not just something to fulfill your desires. It's not just to procreate, even though that is natural. Even though that is something that is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when done in a halal way and without the temptations and without slipping, because this is what shaitan does. He makes us slip and in a way do things that goes against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fulfill certain desires, not the halal way, but the haram way. This is what this dunya pushes us towards. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed us a way through the character of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was not someone who lived a life of celibacy. Rasulullah was not someone who shunned these human relationships. The Prophet ﷺ lived a life that showed that you can be a great servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and at the same time be an amazing husband. Be a husband that brings joy to his home. Be a husband that fulfills his duties. Be a husband that brings true protection. Not just in terms of this worldly life, but also the protection from the akhirah. This is what Rasulullah emulated. This is what he embodied, and we should emulate him. This is the character of Rasulullah, the example that was set, as Aisha said, radiallahu anha, that the Prophet ﷺ was never abusive towards the women or servants. It was not in him to be a person that would go against the idea of Rahma, mercy. The Prophet ﷺ in positions of power, because a lot of times we talk about these dynamics and how people take advantage of those situations where they have authority, where they have the power, where they have the ability to control and to abuse. Rasulullah was not of that nature. So when we say that we follow the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and we believe him to be the best of creation and a perfect role model that was sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that we know that this is the path, this is the sunnah, then it's very important that we bring that into our homes as well, and not keep it just as an ideal in our minds that we think is unattainable, because it's not. A lot of this is simple. A lot of it is based upon mercy. It's based upon this notion that this is your test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are successful in this test, then may Allah make it easy for you. and give you the ultimate success, paradise. Why is it so important to talk about these things? Because I have students, and this is just a few days ago. A young girl, maybe in ninth grade, talks to me in class and says, Imam, why do Muslim men beat their wives? Now, this perception from a young girl, and I'm not talking about non-Muslims. We're not talking about allegations. We're not talking about accusations. We're not talking about people coming from the angle of Islamophobia or any, sense of, hatred or just, hating for the sake of hating. No, this is a girl who wears the hijab. This is a girl who comes to Islamic school. This is a girl who understands the religion. But she can't wrap her mind around this concept that we say, Rahma. We say the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. We say be the best that you can be. And yet you have these examples of domestic abuse. You have these examples of men that take advantage of the responsibility that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. When the young girls start asking you questions, and this is not women that are going through it, these are young people that have their whole lives in front of them. Statistically speaking, the number of people that are getting married right now is far less. And the ones that are getting married are dragging their feet because they see it as a punishment. They see it as imprisonment. They see it as something that will burden them and not as something that will liberate them. That in itself is a challenge. So when young girls start asking you, why do Muslim men do this? It's a problem. Why would anyone be in the hopes, even if it's something that is good for their iman, even if it's something that completes their faith, like we say, when you get married, that is half of your religion, that is half of your deen. And the other half is something that you protect and you take care of, right? This is completion. There's a celebration around it. But statistically speaking, the failure rate, we're not different from others. But is that a celebrating point? Is that something that we should be happy about, that we're not different from others? The followers of Rasulullah are not different from other people? That our numbers are just as bad as everyone else? Is that what the standard is for us as Muslims? No. Our girls should not ask those questions. Our reality should not be so dire. Where have we made these mistakes? And a lot of times it's a cycle. It's the cycle. It's things that we've seen growing up that then we see in ourselves, and then our children do the same thing. And even if they don't do it, it's something that traumatizes them. It's something that stays in their minds. There's research that shows that children that see domestic abuse in their homes, physical violence, financial abuse and manipulation, isolation, preventing them from meeting their family members and their loved ones, control that becomes toxic. When children see that, if the kids themselves are not abused, they still show tendencies of a child that was abused themselves. Meaning, even if they don't physically, if they're not abused themselves, just seeing their parent be abused is something that still has an effect on their psyche. So when we talk about these problems, it's not just what you're doing with your wives. It's not just the responsibility you have to be better and follow that sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A lot of times we think that we're not doing any damage to our children, and we are. A lot of times we don't realize the impact that it has on our children, especially our girls. This is why you have a girl that asks, why are men like that? Now, it doesn't mean every single Muslim man is like that. But if it's enough of a problem that someone is asking that question, then we have to set better examples. We have to look at this in a way that the dynamic changes for these women, and they see the value of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created in marriage itself. When Allah describes creating you as a sign of His, right? This is a symbol. This is a reminder from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from His ayat. He says, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, so that you can find peace in each other. Do we find peace in our spouses? وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً, that He put in between you love. You know, some people say the Quran doesn't talk about love. Mawaddah, that's love. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about love between husband and wife. He put that in between you by design, because that is necessary for your success. That is necessary for your ability to be not just a good husband or a good wife, but to be a good believer. A companion of the Prophet ﷺ had once said to his wife that if I get angry, I want you to be patient. And if you get angry, I'll be patient. And this is the only way we can avoid disaster. The wisdom in that. Because we're human beings, right? Things happen. There's ups and downs. There's challenges in marriage. We don't have that, that romanticized version, that idealistic, Disney movie type of understanding of what marriage and what a relationship is. No, marriages are hard. Marriages are not easy. Relationships requires compromise and tolerance and the ability to sometimes do what's in the best interest of the family. And that ability to make that sacrifice has to come with a motivation that the other person is willing to do the same. Sometimes the expectation is only on one side of that marriage, that all the compromises, the sacrifices have to come from one side, and the other takes advantage of all the benefits, all the perks of that relationship. When that was not the case when it came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when we talk about the value of marriage, when we talk about the problems that we're facing as a community, when we talk about the issues that are going to pop up, and it's going to get worse, it's not going to get better, if we don't rectify the image of what it means for a Muslim couple to be married. If it doesn't become the example of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who showed affection, who complimented his wives, who assisted them in the chores, who made sure that they understood that they were treated with compassion and mercy and respect. Respect goes a long way in a relationship. A person is able to do anything for a relationship if they feel valued and respected. But when you strip away the respect, the value, the appreciation for that, even if it's a housewife. Nowadays we live in this mindset that if a woman is a housewife, it's somehow demeaning. It's somehow not fulfilling one's potential. But if we look at different research and how much value a woman, a wife, brings to the home, if you put a monetary value on it, I think they're talking about like 90,000 or 100,000. The amount of work, if you were to outsource that work to other people, if you were to find other people to do the babysitting, to do the cooking, to do all the other stuff that sometimes we expect our spouses to do, as if that's not our responsibility. And if you have an arrangement like that, if you have something, an understanding, and both sides are taking part in this union, are taking part in the responsibilities that comes with being a successful marriage, then that's never a burden, but it's the lack of appreciation. This understanding that what we do outside is far more significant than what's happening in the house. And we know that's not the case with how we see crime, we see behavioral problems, we see issues in society, we see how the breakdown of the family system has affected society to the point where now we understand the dangers of what it means to live in single-parent homes, to live in homes that were toxic, to live in homes where abuse was normal, where people sometimes don't even know what it feels like to be loved. And when someone does show love towards them, it scares them. Because they might think this is manipulation. They might think it's fake. They might think that this is not something that's normal because it's something that they're not accustomed to. They can't relate. And when we become so broken, then who is responsible for that? Rasulullah ﷺ had made it very clear. There's verses in the Quran that sometimes are mistranslated. Context is not understood. And people go around and use the religion as a means of persecution and abuse. But then you have to remind people, if you were to go to a judge, Ibn Abidin, a Syrian scholar, he would punish men. He would give them the ta'zir if they were abusive to their wives. If they had bruises, if they had burned skin, if they had broken bones or something like that would come in front of him, he would punish those men. Because some men think that this is their right, when the religion never gave them this right. This was not something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. They had a responsibility. When it came to matters of nushuz, which is a separate topic, extreme circumstances, even then there was guidelines. It wasn't that you're not happy with your spouse or you're not happy with how the house looks or if something was not done on time, that you have the right, na'udhu billah, to be abusive. That's not what the religion talked about. Never. Never. If that were the case, Rasulullah would be very clear on this matter. But no, he told you, you clothe them from what you wear yourselves. You feed them with what you wear yourselves. Don't hit them. Rasulullah made it very clear, don't hit them. Breaking away from the traditions of Jahiliyyah, breaking away from the customs, the things that were normal at that time. Rasulullah was going against the culture of that time and making sure that people understood the value of the women in their household. And when that value is cemented, when that value is understood, you'll have families that are healthy. You'll have families that produce people of character, people of worth, people who want to stay Muslim, people who are not looking for validation in other places because they don't think that's something that the Islamic culture or religion can provide. And that's the fear, because eventually what happens? When they have this perception of Muslim men, what happens? They're not going to marry Muslim men. And we see that already happening. This is not something that I'm unaware of or you're unaware of. We see there's a lot of Muslim women that are marrying non-Muslim men. Why? Their perception. Why? What they think they're going to be rewarded with in terms of companionship. The standard has been so low that now even amongst kuffar they find greater success of happiness. And that is a tragedy. That is a problem. And this is something that we have to address. And our responsibility is to make sure that we call out situations. Whether it's in our own homes, we have to assess ourselves. Whether it's in friends or family or other people, there's things that we have to be clear about. Not giving a blind eye to situations of dhulm. This is not something that is expected of a believer. And when you have situations like that, you'll see change. Right now, there's statistics, and this is Peaceful Families Project, PFP. A lot of Muslim women are involved in that project as a non-profit. They do domestic abuse awareness. They do things of that nature. And they have great toolkits. They have amazing information, and there's a lot of work that they're doing. And there's even a survey that they're providing for Muslims just to see how bad the situation really is. And I would recommend that. Inshallah, for those of you that are in our email list, great. If you're not, please give your emails to Brother Nair before you go today. Inshallah, we'll send out that survey so that, and it's anonymous. They're not collecting your name, your identity, your information, but we're just trying to get a good idea of what exactly is going on. In America, 1 in 4 women are abused. 1 in 4 women. And amongst Muslims, that number is higher actually. It's 31%. 31%. And 66%, and PFP says this, right? 66% of Muslims know someone that is abused. 66%. That means 1 in 3 are abused and 2 in 3 know someone if they're not themselves. Right? That's scary. That's not healthy. May Allah protect us and may Allah give us tawfiq to go back towards that proper understanding of what companionship is, what marriage is, and what our union was meant to be both in this life and then also in the next. May Allah allow us to fix ourselves and to be people that are better on the path of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, holding on to Rahma at every chance that we were given. May Allah give us the choice to choose what is good for us and to stay away from the things that are not healthy, and to protect us from all of these trials that are pushing the future generation of Muslims away from this religion. May Allah make it easy for us, may Allah grant us success, and may Allah allow us to understand and to hold on to the true understanding of the example and the model that was set by the Prophet ﷺ. In holding on to the sunnah of the Prophet, there's success, and when we leave the example of the Prophet, there's failure. May Allah grant us success. Please pray yourself.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله الذي فضل سيدنا ومولانا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم على العالمين جميعا وأقامه يوم القيامة للمذنبين الشفيعا وعلى كل من هو محبوب ومرضي لديه صلاة تبقى وتدوم بدوام الملك الحي القيوم وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا مولانا محمد عبده ورسوله بالهدى ودين الحق أرسله. أما بعد فيا المؤمنون رحمنا ورحمكم الله تعالى أوصيكم نفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل في السر والإعلان فإن التقوى سنام ذرى الإيمان واذكروا الله عند كل شجر وحجر واعلموا أن الله بما تعملون بصير وأن الله ليس بغافل عما تعملون. فإن السنن هي الأنوار وزينوا قلوبكم بحب هذا النبي الكريم عليه وعلى آله أفضل الصلاة والتسليم فإن الحب هو الإيمان كله ألا لا إيمان لمن لا محبة له ألا لا إيمان لمن لا محبة له ألا لا إيمان لمن لا محبة له. رزقنا الله تعالى وإياكم حب حبيبه هذا النبي الكريم عليه وعلى آله أكرم الصلاة والتسليم كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره. بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم إنه تعالى ملك كريم جواد بر رؤوف رحيم. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين والمؤمنات إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا مولانا محمد عبده ورسوله بالهدى ودين الحق أرسله لا سيما على أولهم بالتصديق وأفضلهم بالتحقيق المولى الإمام الصديق أمير المؤمنين سيدنا مولانا الإمام أبي بكر الصديق رضي الله تعالى عنه وعلى أعدل الأصحاب مزين المنبر والمحراب الموافق رأيه بالوحي والكتاب سيدنا مولانا الإمام أمير المؤمنين وغير المنافقين وإمام المجاهدين في رب العالمين أبي حفص عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله تعالى عنه وعلى جامع القرآن كامل الحياء والإيمان سيدنا مولانا الإمام أمير المؤمنين وإمام المصدقين لرب العالمين أبي عمرو عثمان بن عفان رضي الله تعالى عنه وعلى أسد الله الغالب إمام المشارق والمغارب سيدنا مولانا الإمام أمير المؤمنين وإمام الواصلين إلى رب العالمين أبي الحسن علي بن أبي طالب كرم الله تعالى وجهه الكريم وعلى سائر فرق الأنصار والمهاجرة وعلينا معهم يا أهل التقوى وأهل المغفرة. اللهم انصر من نسبنا سيدنا مولانا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبارك وسلم. ربنا يا مولانا وجعلنا منهم واخذ واخذل من خذل دين سيدنا مولانا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى اله واصحابه وبارك وسلم. ربنا يا مولانا ولا تجعلنا منهم. وعباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمركم بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأولى وأجل وأعز وأعظم وأكبر. أقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Please make sure your masks are on, maintain social distancing, keep your cell phones on silent. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اركعوا واسجدوا واعبدوا ربكم وافعلوا الخير لعلكم تفلحون. وجاهدوا في الله حق جهاده هو اجتباكم وما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج ملة أبيكم إبراهيم هو سماكم المسلمين من قبل وفي هذا ليكون الرسول شهيدا عليكم وتكونوا شهداء على الناس. فأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة واعتصموا بالله ومولاكم فنعم المولى ونعم النصير. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, a few announcements. This masjid is a work in progress, so the center inshallah is going to grow, and for that to happen, we need your success. We need your support. We need your du'as. We need your ability to help us get the word out. So all of these things are necessary for us to do what we want to do. And that is to hopefully, through mercy, through Rahma, try to heal the brokenness of our community and turn people back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what we're trying to do at Rahma Center. But we need your support for that. So whatever you can do to help in terms of donations, go to our website, rccharlotte.org. There's more information there. We also have a laptop here. You can talk to Brother Nair. Sign up for our newsletter. We have a mailing list we're working on it, and inshallah we'll start sending out emails soon. So if you want to be informed with what's going on, what our future plans are, we do have some events that are coming up. On the 25th, next Friday, inshallah, in the same location, we're going to have an open house so you can meet the people involved, so you can learn what our vision is. There will be food, and we just want you to socialize, ask questions, and hopefully help us get that word out. So let your friends know, let your family know. It will happen here. But at some point, this place is going to be too small for us. We're working on a different location. We want to be able to find a place that will hopefully sustain our vision, sustain the growth that we expect. But again, we need your support for that. So please do dua. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us success, and may Allah grant us ease in this endeavor. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد النور الانوار وسر الاسرار وسيد الابرار. اللهم انت السلام ومنك السلام. تباركت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة نعوذ بك من النار. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. يا رب العالمين, shower your special blessings upon everyone that came for Salatul Jum'ah. Ya Ghaffar, Ya Ghaffar, Ya Ghaffar, forgive all of our sins. Our major sins, our minor sins, the mistakes we remember and the mistakes we forgot. Ya Rabb al-Alameen, Ya Shafi, Ya Shafi, Ya Shafi. Give health to all the people that are sick and have asked for du'as. Ya Rabb, give them strength, give them siha, give them speedy recovery. Ya Rabb, all the Muslimin, Muslimat, Mu'mineen, Mu'minat that have passed away, our loved ones, our family members, the people we know. Ya Rabb, give them all elevation and blessings and salvation in their graves. Ya Rabbal Alameen, unite us under the banner of our Prophet on the Day of Judgment. Ya Rabbal Alameen, give us all a place in Jannatul Firdaus. Ya Rabb, all of our brothers and sisters that are suffering in China, in Kashmir, in Iraq, in Syria, in Palestine, in Burma, in parts of India, Kashmir, Ya Rabb, wherever we suffer, make it easy for us, make it easy for us, make it easy for us. Give us life with Islam, give us death with Iman. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Also, Brother Feroz brought chai, tea, and some sweets for everyone. So please have some before you go and give him your dua.